Hello, David Paul here. I guess I should say good morning because it's 1:21 a.m. and I looked at the video that I posted just recently, just this morning, and I noticed that I've got 44 views. Well, I've only got 280, I think it's 280 something like that, subscribers. So I think people are starting to take an interest in this, so I thought I'd better give an update of what's going on now. And an example of how it's, show you what it's like living here at night time. Okay, so I got my battery powered lights. Got this from, this comes from Decathlon. I got two of these, but I've only got one on here. And I have this apparatus here, which is a, it's a DeWalt tool, which I charge up, a DeWalt tool battery, and it has this thing that goes on top of it, which you clip on and it'll give you a light. So you got a light. In addition to that, so it's kind of like a torch, rather lumpy torch, but it's good. It'll last a long time. And it has these standard USB port there and a modern type there. And on the other side, it's got a connection there to run your computer off, although it won't run the computer for very long. There are larger capacity batteries than this, and I guess you could run a computer in a normal sort of way for maybe a couple of hours on one of these. So that's how somebody raised the question, how do I manage on power and things like that? This is how I do it. How do I take a shower? I just go outside with either a kettle or a watering can and sprinkle myself with water and wash just like a shower, except it's outside, and as a consequence it's rather cold. So it's quite brutal having a shower in the winter time, particularly when it's going down to -5, although I try to avoid that part of the day, obviously. I evolved a method of having a shower. You could do your bottom part of your body, or your top, wash your top part and then wash your bottom part, and then dry the top part before you did the bottom part, and that way you're only getting wet on half of your body at any one time and cooling off that way, and that helped with it. So anyway, I put that back. In that bed there, I will be drawing that tarp over it, and in that bed I've already boiled 2 kettles of water on my gas stove, which is over there. You can barely see in the dark. And so I've got 2 bottles in the bed now. I can manage just fine with one, but I find it's nice to be like too hot, because you just warm up a lot quicker. Today I did an exam. I did an astronomy exam, part of some astrophysics I'm studying for a project in Coimbra, which you'll see that if I manage to succeed with that. So I'm having a celebration beer, Kronenberg 1664, and I would strongly advise that you do not drink alcohol if you are into this kind of lifestyle, unless you have a cabin which is really complete and very warm. You got to be like far down the road of comfort, because alcohol and cold are not a good combination. But I would really like to have another beer, but I think if I have one it'll disturb my sleep, and it'll also mean I'm having to pee all the time, which you don't want to be doing, you know. That's it. So the place is no different than it was this morning, because I haven't been able to work on it, but this is what it looks like at night. It's quite cozy. Because of this thing I was talking about, putting a support in here to hold the roof up while I reset it all, unfortunately I put it in that position and it's kind of like cramped because I have to sit next to the fire now, but I've managed to get my chair in. The fire is on. Are you on fire? Yes. Load of smoke. Oh my god. There you go. There you go. Fire on. Why is it not burning? It's just smoke on it. I should have let the air in. I think I closed it off. Anyway, there's the fire burning. These are all offcuts of wood that I put in there from the construction. So I don't really need to go out in the forest sawing wood or anything like that. Although I do fancy doing a bit of that because you can get some more substantial logs which will burn all night. I have an open section because of all the disturbance there. That part of the tent is all open and the air's going out there. So it's not as snug as it should be. But when I get these walls finished, it'll be wonderful. So tomorrow and the next day, this weekend, I'm not working. I may be working on Monday, depending on my agent. So this weekend, I'm just going to devote myself to working on the cabin. Put a lot of labour in. I'm not going to get all. I've got my scruffy trousers on. I'm not going to get all cleaned up and nice looking. I'll go to church on Sunday, and I'll get cleaned up for that. And then Sunday night, I'll go to the laundrette and wash up all my clothes and bring them back to a cabin which is probably a lot nicer than it is now. 2 days of work on this cabin should bring some results, I hope. I have been contacted by the company that gives me the pallets. They're not pallets. They're shipping frames. So these shipping frames, I might as well put my camera on the nice thing, the fire. Shipping frames are, huge things, and I've got a one down there, and I've got to go and break that up. And that's going to take a half a day's work to break that thing up and then bring it back. But I have to keep on top of that. I have to keep getting them. I've got all this. I had to do this exam, and my brain will not let go of the work that I'm doing here. I'm kind of hyper focused on things here. It's one of the products of ADHD. It's what it goes with the territory. However, it popped into my mind a clever idea, which you will see when I build it, which is, I realised that you don't have to, where I've connected this A-frame together at the bottom, you don't need to do that. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make the frame, I'm going to make a continuous zigzag which goes all the way around the cabin. So that will zigzag up and then down and up and down. With no framing, nothing at the bottom there, that won't be there. And there'll be nothing at the top connecting them. So how do you stop the thing wandering around and not being stiff and all that stuff? Well, what I'm going to do, I just realised if I put the bar in the middle, instead of being at the bottom, if I put it in the middle, then what I can do is I can just make the whole thing run continuously right the way around, and then set the bar across there to whatever suits at the time. And I can change that. I can take that bar out because it's only a short piece of wood, disposable, and put a new bar in of a different dimension. So in other words, the thing can grow. The cabin can grow. And then vertically in between all of this will be the vertical paneling. So it'll be easier to make that clearer to you when I get on to making the putting more frames in. At the minute I've got all of this to dig out. I've got to dig out the entire floor, the cabin, everything. The whole thing's got to go down about 2 feet, which is, you're looking at about, I don't know, could be 10 tons of material that I've got to shovel out. And that's damned hard work, but it has to be done. So you just do it in phases. I've got my storage bin here, which is where I put my food. So as I create space down here, I think I'll put this storage bin, this blue storage bin, down there, and I'll get that out of the way. So that is kind of an increasing accommodation for things as it's being built. Underneath all of this pile of stuff over behind me is a bicycle, which also has to have space made for it. So as I'm mining out, I'll put these things down there, and that'll create more space up here for me to work mining out. There's a guy called Mike Oler, if you ever want to get into this kind of construction. He wrote numerous books on earth-bermed structures. Mike Oler. And he said, I'm prepared to dig for 3 hours a day. And I think that's a good number, because if you dig more than that, it's exhausting. It's something you can sustain. Okay, anyway, going back to my stove. There's my lovely stove, look at that. And my freezing cold feet are getting warm through. I could sit here all night, but I won't. In here, I've got a joint of beef, just nicely simmering away there. And I'm slow cooking that beef. It's supposed to be roasted, this thing, but obviously I can't do that. I don't have an oven, so instead it just gets slowly boiled in there. And that will sit there, and I will allow this fire to go out, so it will continue to stew this beef, and then the fire will go out, and then in the morning I'll have a load of beef ready for numerous meals to plan around that. Got some vegetables in that pan over there to go with this. I'm cutting down on the amount of starch I'm eating, and I'm kind of going on to a basically carnivore diet with a lot of fat and little carbs, and I'm feeling great on it. I'm feeling absolutely fabulous. Wow, this fire's really kicked off. I don't know whether to, I think I'll throttle that back and let it go at a more tame level, because the stovepipe here, actually I found it glowing red once, so I don't want to be doing that. This plastic here is rather near the fire, and there's nothing I can do about that, because I have to clear more space to put things in. I'm just too near the fire, but it doesn't matter, it's okay for now. And as the fire goes out tonight, wow man, that's hot. As the fire goes out, it'll just render itself safe. So that's it. I'm going to finish my last piece of beer, last mouthful of beer, and then go to bed. So, Artilago. See you later. Makita tayo sakana. Jesus be with you.